Last week, the Witcher makers CD Projekt said some stuff that got us feeling a little bit nervous about the upcoming Cyberpunk 2077. We done a video on it, and then we done a tweet about that video. Well, CD Projekt quickly responded to that tweet publicly in an effort to address some of our concerns. But they also sent us a pretty lengthy statement in private, and that's what is in this video.
But, you tell him, Mike, f***ing but.
Yeah.
You, right there, talking to you. Over the weekend, we reported on an interview by CD Projekt CEO Adam Kaczynski with a Polish investment site. We reported on that interview, which included quotes like, "We're interested in Cyberpunk being commercially even more significant," and "Online is necessary or very recommended if you wish to achieve a long-term success." As well as that, there was discussion about the studio's free-to-play card battling game Gwent, how it's primarily intended as a stable source of income for the studio, and how they're using it to learn about how games as a service work. We reported on all this with trademark professionalism, articulation, and insight. I had a bit of a strop, to be honest. And a bit dramatic, but let's not talk about that bit. Then CD Projekt responded to our video with a tweet saying, quote, "Worry not, when thinking Cyberpunk 2077, think nothing less than The Witcher 3. Huge single-player, open-world, story-driven RPG. No hidden catch. You get what you pay for. No bullshit. Just honest gaming, like the Wild Hunt. We leave greed to others." It's like your dad talking, isn't it? When he's just like, "Don't worry, everything's fine." Fills you with a sense of
comfort and reassurance.
Yeah, that's it. It's exactly what it is. It's like, oh, thank God for that.
Nice little jab at EA there, but there is more to that. We'll get to that in a bit. But you've all seen this on the internet already. What you haven't seen is some additional comments that CD Projekt sent to us in a Twitter direct message.
Exclusive.
The studio said they, quote, "want to be transparent towards everyone, gamers and investors alike. And while we never want to do any harm to the way we communicate with gamers, we have to talk to investors, preferably in their own language, because we're a public company. During these investor chats, our focus naturally gravitates towards financial issues, but nothing ever changes in our approach towards gamers." The company says that being gamer-centric is what allowed them to grow, describing gamers as the force of nature propelling us forward, which is a little bit fluffy, but I'll let it slide. Addressing us directly, they said, quote, "Thanks for the care you showed by creating your video, but please don't be afraid. There's no need to remind us not to be greedy, because changing this industry for the better has been part of our soul for the last decade, if not more. Regarding Cyberpunk 2077, please be patient. It'll be ready when it's done, and we sure as hell won't release it because a fiscal year is ending."
Well, this is incredibly reassuring. Obviously, our video was based on some fears that we had in the light of what happened last week with EA and Battlefront and all that microtransaction bullshit. It just seems like the gaming industry is becoming a really horrible place right now. We saw these comments in the interview and we were thinking, hopefully not. Please don't do this to us, CD Projekt Red. Thankfully, they've come out and addressed those concerns like head on. Like, they very rarely come out and say anything at all. And for them to come out and put like an end to the speculation or to put everybody's fears at rest, it just feels so good. It feels awesome, doesn't it, Mike?
Right, Gareth is having a great time. So it's there in writing now, which I enjoy. I like the fact that we've got photographic, written down evidence of no bullshit, which is a nice open promise. No bullshit.
No greed. Leave the greed to others, Mike. No greed or bullshit.
And I sound like we're just jumping up CD Projekt's ass here after they've responded to, in my opinion, valid concerns that we had based on the words that they were using, the language they were using, which is kind of similar to the language that EA uses. And like we said in that video on the weekend, they haven't said, "Oh, we're going to be pumping it full of microtransactions" or anything. They've just kind of said some words and phrases, and games as a service is a term that maybe isn't fully laid out yet in terms of what it actually is. What really is games as a service, and what does it mean to different people? In their message to us, they said they need to speak two languages effectively. They need to speak to gamers and they need to speak to investors and people who are interested in the money, which is of course true. They are a public company. They are interested in making money, but they are also very interested in making great games, is what they're saying.
It's always easy to speculate when you haven't got any hard information, and that's the kind of the problem, that they don't talk enough and they don't do many interviews about the game itself. They talk about to investors and that, but they don't talk about the game and like set our fears at rest. So it's obvious that people will speculate. They're obviously sensitive to the fact that people might be asking themselves questions like we were doing, like what they're going to do with this games as a service. And in their response, they said, "Thanks for the care that you showed, but don't be afraid. This game's everything's going to be fine. We'll leave the bullshit to others, we'll leave the greed to others. It will be exactly like, just think The Witcher 3. What they're doing there as in a PR line, it's perfect. It's exactly what we want to hear, because we were starting, like I said, we were starting to speculate, and they're just like, no, calm down, guys. Let's be honest, I had to go a bit over the top with it, Mike. Just a little bit.
They were your words, so you carry on.
But the line that really sticks out to me from their response to us personally is, changing the gaming industry for the better has been part of our soul for the last decade. And that is beautiful. That is a beautiful line. That's exactly what we want to hear from CD Projekt Red. And I think going forward, like, so long as they maintain that like core philosophy, they want to do things right, they want to do things for the gamer, that is perfect. It's exactly perfect. The fact that they've responded in the light of what happened last week and set everybody's fears at rest and just reaffirmed their like philosophy and their outlook towards creating games, exactly what they needed to do. So again, round of applause to CD Projekt Red for, like, every time we talk about their PR choices and the responses, I've got nothing but praise for them, because they do it so well and they speak our language, and what they're doing right here is absolutely perfect. Everyone can just calm down about Cyberpunk 2077. There's a lot of speculation that they've just shut down, ours included, with this response, and fair play to them. My fears are at rest. My fears are at rest. Are yours, Mike? You know, during a week of microtransaction bullshit, it's absolute zenith. I was hearing words from a company that I had always seen as the top dog, the ones that were saying, you know, exactly what they're talking about here. They wanted to do good things for the industry. That's kind of their thing, you know, that's kind of their selling point. As a brand, I guess, they're trying to do that on purpose. They're trying to look good on purpose. So to hear them saying things like, it's going to be online and we're looking at games as a service in Gwent, that's primarily going to be our cash drive, and we want to learn about games as a service for the future and things like that. Just sentences that I'm used to hearing from EA and Activision and all that bollocks coming out of CD Projekt. It was weird. They clearly are at least a little bit sensitive about it, because they've gone, no, we're fine, we're cool. And they've done it very, very quickly, very aggressively, and as good a response as you could possibly get. They've written down something that says, don't worry you guys, there's going to be no bullshit. They've actually sent us this direct message as well that kind of elaborates on that and says even further that, you know, they want to be a good company, they're not going to be filling their game with bullshit. And in the end of the tweet, they've taken a jab at other big AAA publishers by saying, you know, we'll leave greed to the others. You can't like make shots like that and then go back on yourself in future. Otherwise you'll look like an asshole. And if one thing that CD Projekt Red and CD Projekt are good at doing is not looking like an asshole. So I imagine they will have to stick to their word in future if they don't want to look like assholes. There you go, guys. So that was the response from CD Projekt Red in response to our video on Saturday about their games in future and the possibility of games as a service in games like Cyberpunk in the future. Let us know what you think down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to see more top-notch journalism like this in future. There's another video right there if you want to watch that right now, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.